Thank you, Tronald. I suppose I better ask my question now then. Alexander, are my parents alive?
Raarh. Your eyes trace the formless outline of Alexander as the swirling void of smoke and shadow takes on the guise of a sinister, crooked smile. Its response rings out, resonating with an eerie certainty through the enveloping emptiness.
Indeed, they draw breath, yet they exist in a realm devoid of life's essence. They endure a hollow existence.
Where are they being held?
With a sudden jolt, your very reality twists and contorts. You're propelled through the fabric of existence, traversing the immaterial corridors of time and space at unfathomable velocity. A heartbeat later, your descent halts abruptly, the sensation of solid ground once again beneath you, yet no harm befalls you. There, within the blink of an eye, you find yourselves returned to your corporeal forms, each in the precise location you were whisked away from. I'm assuming you're all heading back to the Ember's Embrace? Well, aside from Raarh and Jake, that is.
Yeah, Joe, I head directly there.
Samesies.
Yeah, I make my way there.
One by one, you each find your way to the Ember's Embrace's inviting common room. The quiet hum of conversation and warmth of hearth fills the space, waiting to be graced by the rest of your companions. Saxy, you're the first to push open the tavern door, a familiar creak echoing through the room. Celestia follows shortly, her presence adding to the homely atmosphere. Lastly, Tronald arrives.
So, Tronald, what did you ask for then? I really hope you actually put the question to good use, which I feel you would have done. Raarh, on the other hand, he probably squandered it by asking something stupid. It wouldn't surprise me.
It's really not my place to say what Raarh asked for. If the time comes where he wishes to share it with you, that's his choice. As for myself, I asked why I've been having these blackout moments and hearing voices in my head.
Where is he anyway? Because I've got a whole load of information I need to share with you. But I feel like we should all be together before we start sharing what we got up to.
And what did it give you for an answer? As for Raarh, who knows, he could be literally anywhere. I say we give him another hour, then we just discuss what we found out over the past 3 days. Because, let's be honest, the addition of Raarh to our discussion really isn't going to be of any benefit to us. All he cares about is food and destruction.
You don't know the first thing about his feelings, Saxiron. You stand there proclaiming judgment, yet you barely scratch the surface of understanding Raarh. Yes, he can come across as a whirlwind of bedlam with a voracious appetite for food and battle alike, but when did any of us, including me, actually take a moment to try to understand him? Have we ever genuinely inquired about his well-being? He may have built a fortress around his feelings, but to dismiss him as uncaring towards us is beyond unfair. I can assure you, Saxiron, he regards you with a respect and admiration which you are clearly unaware of.
I see, so you two have shared words in our absence then. Suppose for a moment he does regard me with respect and admiration. The question still stands. When has he ever expressed it? Save for that solitary instance when I lost my cool. It's not easy, you know. It feels like a one-way street, always trying to understand him, make allowances for him. But when does he try to understand us, or show he appreciates us? It doesn't matter. We'll give him an hour, then go look for him.
He sees you as family. I've said it before, sometimes families bicker. But if it came to it, I know for a fact that that man would take an arrow for you without hesitation.
All right then. Time ticks on as you all wait in anticipation for Raarh's return. An hour lapses, each passing minute draping a heavier curtain of uncertainty. It seems like for whatever reason, Raarh has not been able to make it back to the rendezvous.
Well, I guess we better go look for him then. Any ideas of where to start?
Well, there's a few places where I could imagine he would be, but I say, let's start with one of the worst possible outcomes. Joe, would it be metagamey for me to think that one of the first places we should look would be the jailhouse? Or to ask any guards if they have seen him?
No, I think that's a perfectly reasonable assumption given what you know about Raarh, and that he could have quite easily gotten himself into trouble.
Okay then, I guess we will make our way to the jailhouse then, and see if he has been locked up.
All right, so as you guys are making your way there, we're going to jump over to Raarh and Jake to see what they're getting up to. Raarh and Jake, while you're seated in the cold isolation of your shared cell, the clang of a distant door carries through the structure. The noise is followed by the hum of muted conversation trickling down from the floors above and abruptly capped off by a disconcerting bout of laughter. The eerie echo fills your cell, bouncing off the stone walls and leaving an unnerving anticipation hanging in the air.
I'm going to roll a perception check, Joe, to try and hear what exactly it is they're discussing upstairs.
Okay, go for it, Jake.
All right, That's a 19 total.
Your senses sharpen as you strain to decipher the indistinct chatter above. The vague whispers crystallize into a dire message. The trial, it appears, has been abruptly abandoned, supplanted by an immediate execution by hanging. A donation of substantial proportions, you surmise, has influenced the court, nudging them to eschew public spectacle or opportunity for Raarh to defend himself. Instead, they are intent on making a swift, unceremonious example of him. The conversation soon fades, replaced by the ominous jingle of keys and the echoing footfalls descending the stairway towards your cell.
It seems like your friends haven't made it in time, Raarh. In a few moments, we're going to be whisked off to the gallows. It sounds like they're wanting to avoid any opportunity for you to defend yourself, and instead make a quick, impactful example of you.
Fuck that! I don't want to die just yet. They think they're going to be able to drag me out of this cell without a fight.
Whilst I find your fighting spirit admirable, you're far from the biggest fish these bastards have fried. I'm afraid they won't give you the opportunity to fight back.
And what about you? What are they doing with you?
I'm a pirate, mate. The journey was always only going to end one way with me.
It's at this point you see the guard appear from the stone staircase, making his way towards your cell. And it seems like he's not alone. There are around 6 of them in total.
Okay, Joe, as soon as they unlock the cell, I'm going to rage. I'll be damned if I don't at least take a few of them down with me.
Don't do it, lad. I said they were taking us to the noose, not that today would be the day we die. I have a plan. Joe, before they get to us, I want to pluck one of the bird feathers that's still sticking out of Raarh's clothing and place it down the back of my pants.
You know what? I'm not even going to ask.
All right then, Jake. That's easy enough to do. The cell is littered with feathers from Raarh's escapades. You pluck the feather and hide it amidst your clothing. It's at this point the guard's face appears outside of the cell. Jake, Eagle, and Raarh, whatever your name is, your trials have been abandoned and are scheduled to die today. I've got to ask, though, because it's too fucking funny. What made you think that you could come ashore wandering around the city with nothing but a broken blade, a half-burnt map, and a gun with no firing mechanism? You've got to be the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
Ah, but you have heard of me.
The guards proceed to unlatch the cell door, firmly clasping you both in cold iron manacles. You are marched up the weathered stone staircase, emerging from the dank prison into the bustle of the town. Word, it seems, travels faster than wildfire here, for as you step into the daylight, a raucous crowd awaits. The townsfolk, fueled by fervor and dread, jeer and fling a variety of objects in your direction.
They're lucky I'm shackled, or they wouldn't be throwing fucking anything at me.
All right, jumping back to Tronald, Saxiron, and Celestia, you weave your way through a labyrinth of meandering roads and clattering cobblestones. As you progress, you find yourselves slowly swallowed by a growing sea of bodies. The throng of people swells, a wave of townsfolk that impede your path.
Joe, I walk up to one of the people in the crowd and ask them, "What's this gathering about?"
The man turns around and looks at you. He's donned in rustic brown leathers and a worn cap shadowing his sun-kissed hair. His voice, a gravelly undertone, rolls out, "Heard about an execution that's happening. A filthy pirate and a vile orc brute. Thought I could use some entertainment." In that moment, your gazes glide over the restless sea of heads, and there, unmistakable even amidst the jostling crowd, you catch sight of Raarh. His formidable silhouette, restrained and being led down the path alongside another unfamiliar form, is unmistakable even from afar. The realization hits like a rogue wave, sweeping over you with its chilling truth. Raarh is the one they intend to execute. And that is where we will pick up next session. See you later, guys.